You see, from this disposition, the body-mind, just like anything else in this room and out there and in your room and elsewhere, is just arising. The body-mind is simply arising from this point of view, or from this disposition. You notice what's arising. When you look at objects, do you identify with them? You go out and buy something, is it really yours? And over time, you become emotionally attached to whatever, and woe betides someone coming along and taking it. You buy a bag of sweets, they're your sweets. But then you offer a sweet to somebody, that sweet becomes theirs. It's no longer yours. You go somewhere and you take a seat. You go out of the room and someone else has taken that seat. And you get annoyed because it became your seat. Almost instantly, immediately you sat on it. In the shopping mart, you load up your basket with goodies. Are they yours? Are they yours before you buy them? So I come along and take out the bread from your basket. You get annoyed. We get emotionally attached so quickly. I remember an incident with Judith. She's no longer, she's passed away. She was almost a chimney smoker. Smoked like a chimney. What do you call it? Not chimney smoker. Anyway, chain smoker. She smoked like a chimney. Anyway, I was with her friend, and anyway, I went up to her and took the cigarette out of her mouth. She didn't react too badly. I think she knew I was giving her a lesson of some kind. She was very intelligent. I suppose her cigarettes were like a pipe of peace. More like the dummy, the pacifier that babies have. Anyway, from this point of view, yes, from this disposition, or from the divine point of view, the body-mind simply arises, but we become victims of it. It's my body-mind, including my itches and my pains. Then we blame one another, and we get blamed for being the body-mind. Look what you just did. There are days when I wish I was a dog, where I could just pee anywhere, within reason. But we have to be polite, which is fair enough. Dogs have to be trained. They have to be disciplined. They have to be. The body-mind needs disciplining, and we've got to discipline it. So this is so much easier to discipline it from this point of view, from this place. From this place, you can't discipline the body-mind because you're so involved in it. You're so much a victim of it. You have to stand apart. You have to be the witness to really we're not the body-mind. Nothing is owned really by anyone. My teacher, Adida, would use the word mine and then suddenly say, oh, well, it's not really mine. Something like that. Have you heard my parrot today? I mean, although we don't own anything, we still refer to things as being yours and mine. It's fair enough. I wonder how emotionally attached I am to everything that I see in this room, in my home. I used to test myself. One time I used to give away things. I sold my piano a year ago. People ask, do you miss it? I say, no. I say occasionally, it would be nice to play that piece of music on the piano. I've grown up. In fact, we don't grow up. We grow out of this. We grow away from this. We leave this behind. And then what is left is an intelligence and a maturity that has always, one more time, has always existed. I had a comment about one video I read earlier on today. Are you intoxicated? What have you been drinking? Which reminds me of a time I went on a trip to London when I was in my late teens. And I was just ecstatically happy. And the people I was with said, what have you been drinking? I said, nothing. Just ecstatic. This body-mind has had many times of being ecstatic. Unknown to me, that was the divine state. Not a craziness, not a high that comes from here, but just a natural, wonderful, energetic ecstasy. There are many crazy men that were enlightened. Adida was a crazy man. Crazy wisdom, he would call it. He would give his students, his devotees, things to do that seemed crazy. The path of enlightenment, taking on crazy things. Do this. No, don't do that. Do this. No, don't do that. No, don't do that, but do this. Dig a hole here. Fill it in. Now dig a hole there. Fill it in. Now empty that hole that you just filled in. See, this disposition is indifferent. It's only in the mind. It's only self-contraction that creates this separative division. This is good, this is bad, this is what you should do, this is what you shouldn't do. There's some of you know I do cross stitch, and as you do the cross stitch, the back of the cross stitch is doing its own thing. I'm not planning the back. Let me show you. So this, we've got the light going through it. This is going to be Adidas rolled over. This is his lower body, and candle and flowers. This is cross stitch, and you can see all the holes. So as you cross stitch, you're mindful of where you put the needle and put it down, you bring it back up, and put it down, you bring it back up. You can see the holes. Sometimes you need better light. But you're not creating the back, as it were. Not consciously creating the back. The back is creating its own thing. The back and the front are one. You can't have a front without a back. You should listen to Alan Watts about duality. So you've got the front, beautiful, and you've got the back, you might say, ugly. But there may be a beauty there too. But the point is, I'm not consciously creating the back. So it's the same with all duality. When you jump up, you may be more conscious of going down than you will when you get up. You see what I mean? The up and down go. Well, that's not a good example. But you can't have one without the other. Even if it's not immediately recognizable in the moment. Later on, you can, yes, there's the in, which is pairing up with my out. I've just received that, but that's in response to me giving a while ago. You see, the giving and the receiving aren't necessarily being done at the same time. But the other person will be receiving as you give, etc. So yes, being a victim of the body-mind is what is so much a problem of society, of course, with ourselves. This victim. No one's asking you to be a victim. We just become a victim. We identify with the body-mind. We identify with all of its happenings. And we say it's mine. My dreams, my aches, my pains, my disturbance, my anxiety, my. But my teaching is all about becoming sensitive to this self-contraction, which is at the root of this identification. And when there's no self-contraction, there is no victimization. You're just aware of it. You can still call it yours, of course. I can still say these are my teeth. The enlightened person still has to use pronouns. Can't get away from that fact. But there's a different point of view, a different understanding. So, hope you've enjoyed this little video. Do make a comment. Do give me a thumbs up. It's a way of giving me energy. It's important that everyone is given energy. And there's no individual. You aren't an individual. There's no such thing as individuals. It's as if you're isolated. No. We're all connected. Only this tries to convince us otherwise. It's activity. So thank you for listening. Just be ordinary, human. From this disposition, there's no escape from being ordinary. for now. Blessings. Bow to my heart, Master.